Welcome to the Radiate Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Christy Clemens Hoffman. Each week we will discuss tools, tips, and ways to radiate your best life ever, interviewing practitioners, authors, and luminaries to help you on your path. Wellness, joy, peace, abundance. What do you want to radiate?
Hi, and welcome back to the Radiate Wellness Podcast. Today, we radiate motivation with Lisa Brumm, rhymes with rum, of My Financial Girlfriend. Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello, Christy. Thanks for having me. This is going to be great.
I think it's going to be fun. I was checking out your website, and this is myfinancialgirlfriend.com. And I was just thinking how fun it looks. You know, you walk people through finance and money and how to manage money, how to do money. And we tend to think of that as, that's just, ew.
Like, but your website can I pull out your wisdom teeth today, right?
Yeah, my daughter had her wisdom teeth out today. It's like pulling teeth, right?
Yeah.
But your website makes it look fun. So tell us a little bit about My Financial Girlfriend. What is that about?
To me, it means just don't do money alone if you don't want to. And you need a safe, confidential, private space to do money in. Mm-hmm. And why not use a financial girlfriend who can give you all the pointers and tell you the straight scoop and tell you where to avoid and where to start improving your money life. And, it's really just about, it's all things money, but, as a financial professional, I've been doing this for 25 years. I came out of the banking industry when First Interstate got taken over as a hostile takeover by Wells Fargo. And I just knew that people want resources. They want people to ask questions. They don't want the sales tactics. They don't want to be pushed products in their face. They really just want somebody to roll their sleeves up and go, let's get to it. And I'm your favorite cheerleader, because I'll say all the things that you might go, oh, I don't do very well in money and I don't know how much about this, but I'll go, well, let's dig in and find out, because it's not hard. I can tell you right now, it's not rocket science. As much as people might think it's like drudgery and, oh my God, it's like cleaning out the garage on a beautiful Saturday morning. Nobody really wants to do it, but we have to do it if we live on the grid.
Totally. And so what made you want to break off and do this kind of on your own?
Well, basically, I was tired of the bruising that I was giving myself on my forehead on Monday morning, 8 a.m. sales meetings in the broker dealers in the firms throughout that I was working with. And, I go into the meetings, obligatory, mandatory, 8 o'clock Monday morning meetings with the sales staff or, the team. And I would just be chomping at the bit to get to my desk so I can make a call to my client who called because she's going through a divorce, or call my person back who just wanted to figure out and talk to her CPA to make sure that we're all talking about the same numbers. And, I just wanted to help people. I don't want, yes, I sell products. That is something that says, well, Lisa, what do you do? I'm like, yes, products are kind of the byproduct of once somebody understands why they're opening up something or how it's going to improve their life. I want them to see the whole picture. I want them to know that maybe they're the ones that come to me and say, oh, I need one of those because you just told me that I could save more on taxes, or I can stuff money away from my college fund, and all of those things. So it's really about the why, not the actual physical product. That to me is just like, yeah, of course it's going to help. But this is all the pieces that fold in together, and what you may already have in your financial life is going to work perfect if we just enhance it this way. So again, I'm not here to wipe a slate clean, because I always say you've adulted your way to your life without a financial girlfriend. How much more improved can it be now that you have somebody to just ask all the dumb questions to and not feel shamed or judged because you want to learn more?
Right. I mean, okay, so I have to say this podcast is pretty much by Christy for Christy, right? So
yes.
bring on people that I think I need. And so I know that for me, I need something like this because it's like, I have no idea. I'm a woo-woo person, right? Reiki master, a spiritual medium. I don't know about money. I was a theater major and an English major. It's like, don't know these things.
Yeah.
And
I was in theater too. And I was in music. I played instruments. So, and I went into college, believe this, I went into college my freshman year and I tested into the third year French class because I'd taken so much French. So I was like, my whole, whatever is the right side is the most creative side of the brain. I was just flourishing on that side. But the minute I went into an accounting class, it like clicked, because then it was like feeding all those neurons on my rational and, you know, everything balances and reconciles and numbers. You could find and discover where the problems were with, you know, rules of thumb and how to find, you know, if it was a transposition on a number, it means it was divisible by 9 is the error. And it was just like rules and that kind of stuff just clicked. So I feel like in college is where I really got to just go, wow, I get to use both sides, still be the Lisa that I always knew that I could be, and just really service clients. It's all client centric. It's how would I feel in their shoes if they feel like they don't have enough information, they don't even know what to do or how to start. And I just want to be that person to kind of help show them the pathway and then, you know, instead like learn to fish instead of me just giving you a fish every day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I love that, you know, my financial girlfriend, it just makes it sound so low stakes, calm, fun.
It's insanely approachable. That was my whole goal, is to make it so like no brainer that of course I want to sit down with somebody and just let them see what I'm doing great and where I can enhance and optimize things for myself and my family.
Yeah, you need to put that on your business card. Insanely approachable. I love that as a tagline.
Yes.
Now, on your website, you've got 15 money hacks.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
So you know that. Well, it came from you know the little 7-Eleven penny jar or little, you know, cup that sits on your 7-Eleven counters because people would just kind of throw a coin in there, or didn't want to take little coins in their pockets on their way out. And I'm like, you know, how much do they actually collect through the year? I was just in there like, this is a fascinating number to me, because little tiny pennies may not seem like it doesn't mean much, right? I mean, I think the government was even talking about getting rid of pennies as a coin. And I'm like, you know, I think if we just think of pennies in our couches and in our drawers and our, you know, in other purses, maybe we, you know, we're changing out a purse and we just leave a coin in one purse. It's like all those little coins actually make a matter. So like, what little steps can people take in their money life that just improve one thing at a time, you know? And it's bite-sized and digestible. And it's like, you don't have to do all 15 in one day. You get to just pick and choose. And are they applicable in your life? And a lot of times people, you know, the girlfriend in me just gives you pointers, right? So it's like, my dad is one of the examples on that sheet, is because he came to me. I think we were sitting eating dinner one Sunday together, and he's like, hey, you know, my doctor told me I need to get a new prescription. Instead of the 2 pills I take for my blood pressure and cholesterol, I can have it all in just 1 pill, and I can pick it up at Costco next week. And when he did, he went from 2 $4 prescriptions to a $12 prescription, because it's in 1 pill and it's new and fancy. Right. I go, but Dad, you're paying $8 more, and that you multiply how many times, you know, they give you 30 days at a time. So you're already spending $70-some more than you need to. Were you having trouble taking 2 pills with your coffee? And he's like, no. And I'm like, well, then switch back, go back to the thing where you were paying a less amount and you got the same benefit. And that's really every single thing I look at is a filter through. Is there a way to pinch those pennies? Is there a way to help people just take one step at a time and see the progress, see the actions, take action, because they're so excited about seeing things more money sitting in an account or savings or in, their money jar.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. I love that hack. My mom was taking some medication and it was very expensive. And then her doctor said, you know what, why don't I write you a higher dosage and you just take half of it? And that saved her quite a bit of money. So there are a lot of things we can do like that.
Yeah. It's a lot of times it's just a matter of just, instead of just accepting it and walking out the door, we actually ask why. Again, go to the curious, be curious about anything somebody's suggesting, or in anything I suggest. It's completely Googleable, right? Or it has to make sense. Like I can't offer something that I would, like if it didn't make sense to my dad who's in his 80s, I'm not going to offer it to everyone. I'm just going to say circumstantial, customizable, make sure that everybody's kind of getting what they can get from everything that they've seen and done. And so, like I said, it's sometimes just a tweak or two, and it makes all the difference in seeing how much more money you have a month.
Oh, absolutely. So what are some of these other 15 hacks, just like some of your favorite ones?
One of my top favorite, I've been talking a lot, especially since pandemic, is credit cards, paying off your credit card faster. I actually teach some classes. It's called Rock Your Debt. Learn what the credit card companies don't want you to know. And that is when you make payments, women tend to round up. So if our minimum payment on our credit card company says $72, then most of us will write, if we have it, we'll write it for $100 and send off that extra $28 as in one payment of $100. The problem is most major credit card companies will pro rata your extra payment as if it was part of the minimum, and you don't get full principal only payments like we think that we're getting from years and years and years ago. And the way we can tell is to look at your statement and how they break out that extra and what part of that went towards interest and what part of it actually went to the principal or actually reduced the principal dollar amount. So the idea is you do it in a two-step process. You make your payment on or before the due date, and you should only wait 1 or 2 days next to send out the extra, because it's just 1 or 2 days now of accrued interest, because that minimum payment stopped the interest that was accruing from the minimum payment. It stops because that's what they asked you to pay. Now you pay the extra a couple days later, or shoot it out on an auto or whatever you want to do, and you're getting more of a forced principal only payment because they can only take out of that extra 28 what's accrued over those last 2 days. You see what I mean?
I do. That is brilliant. And that's kind of how I paid off my cars and my house early, way early, by dividing up the payments and sending half of the payment twice as frequently. So it's kind of the same thing, but I'm going to be doing that on a credit card.
Yeah, because if you let 1 or 2 weeks go by, then that's when the clock stops when you made your minimum, and now days per diem percentage is now being compounded against you for 10 or 15 days. So you definitely want to do it closer to when the minimums you see it post, and just only and count weekends, because nowadays every day is counting against you instead of where it was just Monday through Friday back before 2000. So there's a lot of changes and algorithms that we just don't even know that we're battling against, because I ask this question a lot to clients. They go, oh, I'm so in debt, I can't even think about setting up a retirement or anything. And I'll say, well, are you paying extra on your, knowing? Like, it's a Perry Mason question, right? 98% of people do. I go, do you round up? Do you ever pay extra on your credit cards? And then they'll go, oh, yeah, I got to get it paid off. I go, do you ever feel like the balance is actually going, you see it physically going down? And they're going, I don't use it, but you're right. I kind of just hovers around that dollar amount month after month. And I said, it's because they're not taking principal payments against your extra payments, aren't being used in a way that's more efficient for you. So that's one of my top ones. And I love teaching about this to most people because it's that battle that we just don't know we're fighting.
Right. So you've got a bunch more money hacks where that came from.
Yeah. There's a lot of good things. Another one comes from, I use my family as a lot of examples, but my son, he's 29 and he's got a really great job now. And when he was 13, apparently my husband doesn't quite remember this, but he and my husband talked about however much money my son could save,
Mm-hmm.
then we would match it when he went to go buy his first car at 16. And it's going to be a junker car because he's 16, but he saved up $3,000 by doing umpiring for little league baseball through the summers and on weekends.
Wow.
And I was like, so what he did is the first, and I use him as this example because when that job at 13, they had auto pay, the direct deposit going for their paychecks. Mm-hmm. And they sent him home with a piece of paper that said, where's your bank? Where's your routing number? Where do you want it? And he didn't have a check. He was only 13. He didn't have a checking account, but he checked the box that said savings because we did have a savings account for him. And that money just directly went into savings. So even as he's gotten a really good job out of college now, he just direct deposits always to savings because he goes, Mom, isn't that where I eventually want all my money to be once I paid my bills? I'm like, yes, son, that's exactly what you want to do. So he knows exactly what his bills add up to, how much his rent and car payment and cell phone and how much he uses in food. And he just transfers over what he needs. And most of his money sits in his savings account. And he's working on getting a down payment for a condo or a house. So he's well on his way. I can tell you he's got over tens of thousands of dollars sitting waiting for him to go for it and buy and find the right house.
Wow, good job, Mama.
Yeah, I know. He heard a couple things. But it was kind of forced on him because it's like savings. He only could do it to a savings. So, but every job he's gotten since then, it's always been a savings direct deposit. So that to me is it may take us, as adults, and now that we've kind of done things just to a checking, most of us put it to a checking account. It takes maybe a month or two to kind of ease into it. So you don't just completely, end up not paying your bills on time and things. But logistically, it doesn't take that much effort if you really want to save. Because most of us say, I just don't save enough. I want to be able to save more. And those are the steps that help us get there, is just one little thing at a time.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. So what type of client tends to seek you out? What type of person do you tend to work with?
Well, I'll just say, even before I was Financial Girlfriend, my company has been around since May of 2017. It came out of a leadership course that I had taken with some really fantastic kind of mastermind group people here I live in Portland, Oregon. And when I came up with my Financial Girlfriend, it was like, I was worried. I had some concerns, well, I work with men too. And how is it, am I turning away clients because I'm a financial girlfriend, or that I'm teaching other women advisors to be financial girlfriends? And what I found is that isn't the case, because yes, I'll say a majority of my clients are women. I'll say 80% of them have either a side hustle or are working towards being fully self-employed, whatever their skills are. And if they're married and have a guy in their life, they come along, because again, I'm not spewing numbers off of, CNN and the stock market and I'm not doing that. I'm actually, let's talk real money, day-to-day money management. Set it up, and now you can observe and just monitor. You don't have to be in your accounts 24/7 or anything like that. And so I think I think by the name, I attract women because it is that insanely approachable viewpoint. It's coffee, your girlfriend, and we're going over your money. That's pretty much the way it works. And I do it in a way that's not judgmental. I'm not going to judge you for putting your rent on your credit card, because we're in survival mode. Hello, you got to do what you got to do to keep the roof over your head. But when things start turning around, or you make more money, or whatever those trigger points are, let's work on a plan today, so that we already have some of these ideas of what those buckets should look like. So I would say a lot of my clients are just really financially curious. they really want to just not be spoken at. They want to be engaged and it's a collaborative, to me, it has to be a collaborative process, because the minute you leave my Zoom call or the minute you leave the conference room, it's your money. You're going to still do what you want to do. But if you have a place that, I'm not going to hold you accountable. I'm just going to say, it would be a really good idea if you try this. If you don't like it, scratch it and we'll start over. But I think that most people are very eager and highly motivated once they know that they don't have to be subject to ridicule or shame, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we called this Radiate Motivation, because it is that motivating factor of, first of all, finding someone to help with this without any judgment, knowing you can do better, and then, learning the tools that you had maybe previously thought were unattainable, tools that it's like, I'll never learn that. I'll never figure it out. I'll never be good at this. So, which reminds me of, what type of beliefs are you finding in clients about money that interfere with their savvy?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is that people think, maybe I was saying this to you before, but it's like, we all, as Americans, we are so poorly educated. In fact, there was a U.S. News Money survey. It was a worldwide survey about financial literacy and where countries ranked in their ability to provide that kind of information, schools and culturally, right? And out of hundreds of countries across the globe, U.S. ranked 15th. And the 14th, the one right above us, was Botswana. Botswana is more financially literate than all of the United States. And I just said that's something, right? That says a lot. And I think that I think the curiosity, and if we can fuel people's curiosity about asking the why questions and how does this work and why didn't I learn that? That's kind of where most people are coming from, is like, it's kind of like, I'm almost about ready to give up. What should I do? Right. And that to me is kind of one of the best places to start, because then you can start just going, listen, you probably have done some really good things. Like, you probably maybe you have a little retirement from an old employer, or maybe you've already paid off your car, or maybe you're already in the house. You've already gotten the steps to buy a house. Now, let's again, those are not bad things. The mortgage is not a bad debt to have. It's because it's tied to an asset that hopefully will appreciate over time, even if it's not appreciating yet. And so I just think that we just don't give ourselves enough credit. And sometimes it takes that extra percent, that perception or objectivity to look at what people have done and go, good job. That's a great way to do it. Now let's take the next step beyond that. And they just don't see the pathway. They don't see the forest for the trees, really, is what I think.
Yeah.
Support for the Radiate Wellness podcast is made possible in part by listeners like you. Would you like to support this podcast? Visit radiatewellnesscommunity.com/podcast for more information.
So what type of things do you help clients with? You mentioned savings. You mentioned maybe retirement. Like, what kind of things do people come to you for?
I'll say budgeting, and I also am kind of like a tax geek. So I love taxes. I love working in that world because, again, I know it's crazy, right? But taxes actually are written for business owners, and we automatically think it's for the the big, huge, mega billionaires that are taking all the tax breaks. But actually, if you have a CPA, most CPAs will just do the work because they're looking in the rear view mirror from what happened. And I have the approach of, let's do that, but let's forecast it forward. And so with a good CPA and working with like myself or a financial girlfriend that's gone through my master classes, we look for ways to use tax code in our clients' benefits. So even if they're W-2'd employees somewhere, There's ways to max out your 401k to pay less than the IRS. We know that is like a deduction you can give yourself.
Right.
But if you have a side hustle or even try, maybe somebody in the household is working part-time through some kind of side or part-time self-employment type business, then to me, that's tax magic, because you've got now a whole warehouse of other taxes, and tax code written for business owners means you can make as little as $1,000 in your first year of just gross revenue. And you still get to take benefit of a lot of the tax laws that are out there for small business. It's small business all the way up to, billionaire businesses. It does not matter. It's just, to me, it's just scalable. It just goes wherever you're at your time frame. So taxes to me, I did ask a question once, lady. I go, well, how do you feel about taxes? And she goes, oh, I love taxes. And I said, well, that's not a usual answer that I get. And she goes, I go, why do you love them? She goes, because I get a big refund every April. And I'm like, oh, so you're paying all that money forward and not getting benefit of using it in your own life. And then maybe you blow it on a trip to Disneyland or something. So again, it's just a matter of balance. I look for balance in everything. I want you to have all that you need and you could use, but I also want you to have more. So those top 15 money hacks, going back to that, is really just how to find more money in places that you just don't even know that there is more money to be found.
I love that. And then you can get the 15 money hacks just by signing up on your website, a little pop-up thing. Sign up for your email list and get benefit from that. And then also get these great money hacks. Now, you mentioned something that really just kind of made me go, and that was you train people to be financial girlfriends.
Yeah,
that's great.
So right now I'm working with some major financial planning firms that have me doing, I call it the Financial Girlfriend Academy. And I've had many graduates now come through. I think my first class is starting February of this year. And they're 6-week master classes. And it's women in financial. So it doesn't have to be a financial advisor per se, but I've had money coaches. I've had bookkeepers. I've had women that work in financial services. Maybe they're like a support person to a financial advisor. Most of it is based in emotional intelligence, because I believe that as women, I use that nurturing, that mother instinct, even if we're not necessarily biological mothers, we have that ability just to care about and compassionate for others. And I start a lot of my workshops with a phrase that I love. It's an African proverb, and I hope not to butcher it, but it's, when you teach a man, you've taught an individual. When you teach a woman, you've taught the village. And that to me means that we share knowledge and we want to be collaborative and we want the best for everyone, because if we get a good deal, I want to share it with you. I'm going to say, hey, I'll say, hey, I love your blouse. That's a beautiful blouse on you. And you, I got this at $7 at Ross, right? I mean, it's kind of a badge of honor that we find the deals. And that's really what I think the Financial Girlfriend does too. And so when I teach that, it kind of really blows the women advisors' minds away, because then they're going, I get to be more me and less male-dominated ego in industry. And so my whole undercut of all this is I want to be a catalyst for some drastic changes in approachability with the financial industry. I don't want people to fear having to go or feel like they're going to be judged if they even call up some person because they just got, maybe a major bonus or something. But a lot of people think they can't even talk to an advisor without having $100,000 ready to invest. And I just say yes on that. No, start where you're at. And anybody if you have income, if you have any income, it does not even have a dollar sign with zeros. Just whatever you have, there's something we can usually find ways to help you find other places where your money might be just better working for you.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And I think just as a woman, I find women more approachable anyway. Maybe that's just me, but
yeah. Well, I think there's been a lot of studies about women as consumers. we live longer than typically than men.
Yeah.
And so even if we're not like the money person in our families right now, or we're not, we might have this part role about make sure the bills get paid. But when it comes to the investment side, we kind of leave it off to someone else in our family. Well, the idea is that at some point, most women will outlive their spouse and they're going to be in charge of their money at some point. So would you rather do it in your 40s or would you rather do it in your 70s, right? Or 80s? So the idea is that I see this kind of surge of feminine energy coming up saying, I got to know some of this stuff before any of that kind of thing happens. And maybe I have some influence on how, we want to put our money where our mouth is too. We care about where we put our money in the community or how we're making sure that it goes to things that we care about and really causes that we want to help, right? So the community is really that whole focus of putting money in a place that it is empowering to another organization and it's being used in a very sensible and practical way is very important to us. So we can do that through investment.
I love that. And then you also, on your website, you've got the GF Talks Learning Lab, and that looks really interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Well, I started some summer courses on debt, rock your debt, I have women going through divorces right now. It's kind of spiked because of the pandemic.
Right.
And I have a checklist that I go through with clients so that they can, before they even go see their attorneys, they don't know if they're, are they financially prepared to do any of this? Is it something, and so what I've done is I've created a course. It's a 90-minute course, Rock Your Divorce, and what to learn before you go see your attorney. And it kind of has this checklist with your questions built into how you want to, handle this. And so topical. I wanted them to be, again, bite-sized, topical, rock your retirement, rock your budget, rock your, I'm working on right now, but I haven't announced it yet, but rock your crypto, because cryptocurrency is coming up like crazy.
Yeah, I've been really curious about that and no idea where to learn about it. So perfect.
Yeah, most licensed advisors, there's no regulations around it, so we kind of have to say, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. Go call somebody from the internet, I guess." So I've got some resources, some really good people, experts in their fields that are helping me put this program together. But the idea is that summer courses these workshops ended up out of need. And I got some wildly popular ones, some more than the others. Oh, somebody told me about their aging parents. So I have one for your aging or senior citizens in your life. How to have those crazy money questions like, Mom, when do you want me to call and call you and tell you that it's, that you probably shouldn't be driving anymore? When is that? What kind of trigger would that cause? Right. And it's the uncomfortable. It's all of these awkward situations that we now become the parents to our parents. And so we really want to have I want to normalize those types of conversations so that people don't feel defensive and you're trying to take something away from me and things like that. So, so all of these courses are very just day-to-day, management and conversations that we can have. And then we have, hang on, that's my dog. Just a second. I got interrupted. I'm so sorry. Come here, baby. Oh, he's fine. Okay, sorry.
Hashtag working from home.
Yeah, right. Come here. Okay. I'll make him lay down next to me. So the summer workshops then led me to think, well, I was charging $25 for the 90 minutes. I called it summer pricing, $25 for these courses. And then I thought, well, gosh, I have people who are repeating, they like 5 of my 6 topics and they keep repeating. So then I came up with the Girlfriend Talks Learning Lab. And so instead of paying $25 every time you show up to any class, you pay $29 one-time lifetime sign-up fee, and then $9 a month. And that is a recurring charge, and you can cancel it anytime. You have give us a 30-day notice, and then you won't get charged. If you want to put it in for now, then you won't get charged starting in October. And so, and I didn't want it, I didn't want it to be a huge dollar commitment, but I wanted to create some stir that people can actually just drop in to these classes because they're in like a membership program. And that's really where it came from. I was thinking Costco and that kind of thing. It's like, okay, I'll just pay this small nominal fee, but I get to access all of the classes. And I'm training some of those women advisors that I was talking about to teach these classes. And then they get an audience and they can start working with clients that show up into their classes too. So again, I'm trying to sprinkle the world with financial girlfriends everywhere.
Laura, to help us, we need that. Oh, yeah, I could use some financial girlfriends. That's a great idea. What a great idea. I love this learnings, this school, this financial literacy school. Now, do you have any programs for like teens or kids?
Yeah, that is definitely coming up too. I have this laundry list and I'm like having to prioritize what's going to go in where, but that's come up time and time again. In fact, I've had clients who've actually brought their young adults or their teens with them onto these Zoom calls so that they can talk about mom and dad, hear them talking about mom and dad's retirement or mom and dad's life insurance or whatever it is. And it just, again, it normalizes that money isn't a taboo. Money should be a conversation that's just as easily, we talk about that when we do the sports game that we love or the daily goings on of what's going on in my life. Right. So, So I think, yes, teams are definitely coming up. I think the cryptocurrency will actually cause a lot of the teens to want to start seeing what that's all about. I think the youngest person so far that's been in some of our classes is in her late 20s, and she's done a repeat a couple of times. Well, as we get closer to tax season, we'll do Rock Your Taxes with your how to talk with your CPA or how to make sure you get the most out of your CPA's time.
Oh, that's brilliant. I can imagine Rock Your Paycheck, all of these things. Rock Your Savings.
That one down.
Thank you. I will be here all week. Rock Your Paycheck.
Yeah, I'll give you just subtitle credit for sure.
Give me some credit, yes. But I'm thinking for kids starting out on the workforce, like this is what you can expect. This is the people they're going to be taking this money out. This is what it goes for. This is how you can choose how much they take. For people just starting out in the workforce.
Exactly. In fact, even last night I was finishing the dishes, and my daughter, who's 20 and was here, her boyfriend came over, and she comes around the corner. He was talking to my husband, and she comes around and she goes, "Mom, can you talk to Austin about getting a loan on a car?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And he was kind of embarrassed. And I said, "No, this is the perfect place to come and talk about loans for cars and what you can expect and what you're paying, what you can afford and what your payment looks like and how to build credit." He doesn't even have credit. He has zero credit. So it's like, it was a great little time to just, again, have a chat and make it easy. Not make it painful and hard and embarrassing.
Well, I can imagine talking to Girl Scout groups and Boy Scouts and junior achievement and Boys and Girls Clubs. And, I wish I knew this stuff growing up, because
I get that a lot. That's a very common question, because it's like, why didn't anybody show me this or when I was doing that? And it's just because, our school systems are definitely in need of help. I mean, obviously, I feel that our teachers do not get paid enough. But to put that curriculum in is just, it's another wedge into a square hole into a round peg, right? Because I remember taking a money and sense class, and it was taught by the baseball coach that needed something to do until 3:00. And he's telling 16-year-olds how to balance a checkbook. Well, honestly, you can't even own a checking account until you're 18. So it's irrelevant information. It's kind of like what I call book knowledge versus day-to-day in the field, working with people on their money.
Right. Well, you're doing great stuff. This is amazing. I wish I would have known about this when I was in my 20s, but here we are.
It's never too late. That's another thing. It's not, you stake the ground today, and you can start one by one working towards just improving. And there's always room for improvement.
I love it. And of course, your website is myfinancialgirlfriend.com. And you've got, my gosh, so much information. You've got the learning lab. You've got all these classes up there. You've got a calendar of workshops and events, stuff that you're teaching, stuff that you're doing, media videos, great selection of media videos. And if somebody wants to start working with you, how can they do that?
Just reach out through the website. There's a little, I want to talk to you or chat with your girlfriend.
Let's chat more.
Yeah. And it comes right into my inbox. Facebook, we have a really good Facebook and Instagram presence. We're also on LinkedIn. So those are our 3 social media platforms that we're really I think that whole girlfriend Talks Learning Lab is really starting to be very popular, which is nice. I like to see more people in attendance, because the cool thing is that if you learned you have a guarantee from me personally. If there's a 90-minute class that you go and you don't learn anything, like you can't walk away with one idea different than what you're currently doing, you get your full refund back. So I want it to be as approachable, accessible. I want people to be eager and motivated to do something new.
I love it. I love it. Well, Lisa, it has been so informative and fun talking with you. I would love to bring you back on. Money can be fun if you got the right girlfriend to talk to about it. Exactly. Right? Exactly. So I'd love to bring you back maybe in a few months or something like that. But it's just been a joy learning about what you do and what you bring to the table. And I totally appreciate your time.
Thank you, Christy. It's been fun. Thank you.
Radiate Wellness is a community of holistic and alternative healers and consultants based in the Kansas City area, dedicated to helping you create spiritual, energetic, and physical well-being. To learn more about our practitioners, services, classes, and events, or to schedule an appointment, visit us at radiatewellnesscommunity.com.